you're trying to give the same brief idea about what exactly the GRC and where exactly you are trying to do all those things. So basically, GRC is one of the compliance tool. Okay, and here in GRC, we are going to identify the risk by using this GRC tool. We are going to identify the risk. How we can go identify the risk? So by performing the risk analysis. By performing the risk analysis, we are going to identify the risk. So what exactly the risk it is? So risk can be the any type of the fraud or theft. Okay, theft, any physical item or any kind of thing we are calling as a risk. Okay, so here if you take any of the organizations wise, okay, SAP's perspective, what will the risk? A risk can be the person who is having the access to create something, and that guy should never have access to change the same item. Okay, so same example. So if the person who is having access to creating a middle master record, so same guy should not have access to modifying the same purchase, same middle master ID, so or else validating, whatever it is. So whoever having access to creation, those guys should never have access to change or approval, such kind of thing. No, you should not have any access. So if the one person is having two critical type of actions, that's obviously causing a risk. Okay, so in technical terms, if we can say, risk can be the any two contradictory T codes comes together, risk will be appeared. Contradictory T codes comes together, risk will be appeared. So here I'm just taking the example of the one of the business process. So in this business process, we'll get to know. So here I'm just taking as a one of the business process as order to cash. So in this order to cash business process, so anything like whether you can take it as a sales order or purchase order, any type of order. So this process will start from the order stage, and the process will end at the cash stage. Okay. So if you take any of the order, something else. So if you can take as a procurement relevant stuff. So basically procurement guy. So if you want to, if as your employee working in organization, if you want something, what you will do? Generally you will raise a request. Okay. That request will go to your next level of approver. Once approver has approved the request, then only it will go to the buyer. Okay. So buyer will validate it, whether you are authorized to get the data, whether you are authorized to get information, or else whether you are authorized to get a relevant item or not. Once your buyer has approved, the request will go to the relevant warehousing team, and if their warehousing team checks that whether the goods are available or not, if the goods are available, then we can go and we can able to collect the goods. If not, then what buyer will do? So buyer will go and will raise a call with the vendor management team. So vendor management team will raise the request for goods. So here I am taking the example. Raise the request for goods. Okay. So here this activity is doing from the vendor management team. Afterwards, so once the third party team, once the vendor team has sent in the goods to us, so somebody from our team, from our customer, has to receive the goods. Okay. So this generally receiving the goods activity will be taken care by the warehouse team. That means two different activities, raising the request for goods and receiving the goods. If these two activities are assigned to one person, that is obviously causing a risk. So what that means? So the person who is raising the request for goods, and the same person should never receive the goods. So why? Because the general, if I am having the same both the T codes to my user ID, the thing is I can raise a request. So the genuine requirement is only 10 goods, but I have raised the request for 20 goods. And afterwards, once the goods were received, what I will do? I will receive the 20 goods, but in the event I will inform the same information to the finance team, saying 20 goods are received, so and so material number and so invoice. So afterwards, But whenever I'm entering into my warehouse, store, and all those things, so I'll try to enter only 10 goods only. So the remaining 10 goods, I'll keep it with myself. Okay, this is the kind of fraud I can able to do if such kind of critical access to my user ID. So nobody will catch me till the audit team comes and audit team asks me where exactly these 10 goods and all those things. Because I am the in charge of the warehouse team and nobody knows where exactly what is the status and all those things. So I'm simply say, so I will maintain the 10 only. So this is the kind of thing occur automatically a risk will be appeared. Okay, and this is the kind of risk one. And case 2, in the same example, after so once warehouse team receiving the goods and same information, the invoice number and all those things, they will try to convey to the finance team in the account payable team. So there they what they will do. So account payable clerk or somebody invoice team. So they will try to create invoice. Okay. So they will try to create an invoice. Afterwards, so account payable manager or credit control owner so has to approve the invoice. So in this case, this is the next risk is coming. So in this case, so both Wahid is having the same access. So like a invoice creation access and approving the invoice. So in that case, so once there is inputs as received from the warehouse team, the original requirement has to raise the request for the $10,000 only. But he has created the invoice for the $20,000. And afterwards, he is the person is going to approving the invoice as well. Simply he will go and he will approve it. No other person is going to validating this request. Done. So there are the $10,000 has been so has a chance for the fraud and he has approved as well. Based upon this approval, then there is a third guy, account payable processor. Okay, he will release the cash. He will release the cash. See, now this guy has done, this guy has approving it. Here also there is a chance for the risk. So okay, you can say it as a risk too. That means, so once this cash has been released, there is a person who is supporting the vendor and all those things. Those are everything is my everybody I know, and there is a 10,000 rupees, $10,000 we have extra, we have paid extra to the vendors. There we are, if we are having a setup and everything, if you know everybody each other, then we can go and we can able to share those money. So this is a kind of another kind of a fraud to the organization. So all those things, wherever the risk chances, wherever the risk related transaction codes are assigned to the user. So these things we can go and we can able to identify by running the risk analysis. We can get it. So where this chances, where this kind of things is possible in GR system, we can go and we can able to run the risk analysis, and then we can able to identify where is the risk related risk, where is the chance for the risk. So all those things we can able to identify by using this GRC tool. So how can we identify these things? So I told you by running the risk analysis. For running the risk analysis, where is the scope? From where exactly the GR system is identifying this risk? So for that one, yes. So GRC is mainly depending upon the SOD rules. So segregation of the duties based upon the SO segregation of duties only. So GRC is going to identify which person should have what kind of access. If you are a clerk, what kind of desired action you need to get as per your job profile. If you are a credit control owner, what kind of activities you have to perform. So such kind of thing SAP has already clearly segregated based upon your designation. So how SAP has defined these rules and everything? Based upon the SOX policies, SAP has designed these things. So here I will try to give a brief idea about the SOX policies, how these things are coming to picture. So SOX policies, basically these two persons from the US Sarbanes and RC, they have designed these rules and regulations of the how we have to eliminate the organizational risks and all those things. So in the year like around 1990s, there is a company called Enron. So the company was performed excellently almost 4 to 5 years. The company has received the best award, industries award, and all those things. So around the year 1995 or 6 something, so the company gone for the public issues. That means everybody has invested the money on their money. So public money has invested by purchasing the shares of the company specific shares and everything. So afterwards, after gone for the public issue and everything, now at that time, like after 2 years only, the company gone for the bankruptcy. That means the company has performing the loss. So within 2 years, the company has gone for the loss, and everybody who has invested, public has invested a lot of money in the company, right? Everybody's money has gone right. So at that time, US 1998 something, the government has appointed two government officials from the financial side. So why the company has gone for the loss and what could be the reasons and everything. So at that time, they have both Sarbanes and Axley as observed the company. Where is the chance why it was gone for the loss and all those things. So now those guys came to know because of all these related to the fraud relevant things that happened in the company, and that's why the company has performed very loss and all those things. At that time, government has decided to prepare some kind of standard guidelines or policy something. At that time, these guys have prepared some guidelines and all those things. So based upon these guidelines, whoever has taken the public money as invested as a shares and everything, they has to follow these rules and everything. So they have started in their country. Based upon that, each country has prepared their own specific set of policies and everything. Like India, Japan, Germany, Australia, France, every country has prepared their own set of rules and policies. Based upon these policies, SAP has prepared a set of SOD rules. Okay, so these rules, by following these rules, system is going to identify the risk. So now you got the picture, right? So as we're using SOD rule, system is identifying the violations. How SOD violations are defined? By following the various guidelines, various rules from the different countries and everything. So this is what happened over here. Now, so once we ran the risk analysis, system is showing the risk and all those things. So afterwards, how can we identify the risk? So after identifying the risk, how can we take action against the risk? Okay. Once we have identified the risk, okay, we have identified user is having the two critical transaction codes. Then what is next? What is our course of action? So here, once we identified, here we can able to take the two different kind of actions. One is the remediation, and second one is the mitigation. So remediation wise is nothing but simply removing the risk. Okay, removing the risk means once we have ran the risk analysis and we get to know. So in the same example, so one person is having the raising the request for goods as well as the receiving the goods. So then once we get the risk, and we have to inform to the business process control team. Basically, business process control team mainly from the business side. Okay, so they will take a call whether this guy is really required both the T codes or not. So if they said, okay, only the person. So if I'm taking as a Sweta as a person, she is having both the critical T codes, then the business can take a call. So Sweta should require only raising the request for goods, and she should not have the and receiving the goods. Why? Because she is from the vendor management team. So then simply what they will say, okay, remove the receiving the goods access. So okay, what is our next course of action? We will go and we will check how she is getting this access, because of the role or not. Yes, we have identified. So there is one role is giving this kind of critical access. So then we can go and we can able to remove this particular role. So receiving the goods T code, where this T code is available, that role we can able to remove from her profile. Then automatically risk will be removed. Then afterwards, if you try to run the risk analysis against Sweta user ID, then obviously the system does not show any risk. Why? Because we have removed the risk relevant T code. So this is what the remediation. So nothing but removing the risk. And coming to the case 2, that is nothing but a mitigation. So mitigation wise, so So the same example. So Sweta is having the both raising the request for goods and receiving the goods. So business is thinking both these activities are going to performed by the same person. So as per their business, it is okay to give the both critical access and all those things. So at that time, what they will decide. So okay, business is like, okay, no problem. Keep the both different critical activities to this user ID. Then at that time, how can we allow this risk? Here its system is showing the risk 1. Then how can we allow this risk? Here, by using the mitigation controls concept, we can able to allow the risk. Here we need to create a one mitigation control ID. We need to create a one mitigation control ID. Afterwards, after creating this mitigation control ID, we need to assign the relevant risks. We need to assign the relevant risk. So here if you identify two different risks, both those risks we can able to assign the mitigation control ID. Okay, once mitigation control ID gets created, now no problem. What we have to do, we have to go and we have to assign those, we have to map this mitigation control ID to user ID. We have to, first step is we have to create the mitigation control ID, then assign the relevant risks, and second step is we have to, whatever the mitigation control ID we have created, then we need to map to Sweta user ID. Then afterwards, if you try to run the risk analysis against to Sweta user ID, system will not show any kind of a risk. So why it is not showing? Because we are allowing system to keep that particular risk to the Sweta user ID. So system is going to understand, okay, so and so risk is okay to keep. Then system will not show any risk while running the risk analysis. So this is what happening. We can go for the remediation and we can go for the mitigation. All those things we can do it in the GRC side. Okay. So accordingly, so this is the main uses of the GRC and the compliance tool. Now in GRC 10 suite, we are having the various different components. Okay, those are access control, process control, risk management, GTS, and NFE. These are the 5 different components are available in the GRC 10 suite. Okay, so we are mainly concentrating on the access control, right? Okay, so here this tool is mainly, access control tool is mainly delivered for us, security purpose and data security and all those things. And rest of the modules like a PC and all those things. So there are for those things the different kind of target wise and everything. If you take process control wise, so this component is mainly delivered for the to streamline all your financial process and all those things. So here like a treasury and all the different consultants from finance side, they will log in and they can able to finish their work. And risk management wise, it's total organizational level risk and all those things. Not only data, it is also concentrated in the all organizational risk and safety measures and security policies and all those things. They will define it. So if you come to the GTS, so this GTS is basically global trade laws and all those things. So for example, if you are doing the business in one country and if you would like to extend your operations into the other country as well, so then this, if you can update the particular country specific local rules and trade laws and as well as the tax policies and all those things based upon these inputs. So this system is able to provide the MRP rates and what exactly the tax and how we can able to get benefit. All those things we can able to manage through GTS. And last one is the NFE, Nota Fiscal Electronica. So this component is mainly delivered for the Brazil country to manage the invoice process. So in Brazil, whatever the invoices which was raised by any of the main player and everything, they have to submit to the immediate to the government authorities on an immediate basis. So here through by using NFE, they can able to forward these invoice data to the government authorized systems. So this is what happened in the 5 different components. Now let's go and discuss about the access control part. Okay, so here in the access control part, once again we are having the 4 different components. Those are access risk analysis, access request management, okay, access request management, and third one is the emergency access management. Fourth one is the business role management. Okay, let's go and discuss about the access risk analysis. So this component is mainly delivered for the running the risk analysis. Okay, so if any of the customer, if they wanted to go ahead for the implementation of the GRs and everything, most of the 95% of the customer, they will go ahead with the, at least 90% of the customer, they will go ahead with the ARA. That means by using this component, we can go and we can able to clean our environment. We can go and we can able to clean our environment. That is nothing but we can go and we can able to run the risk analysis, and we can able to identify where exactly the risk is coming. And next is the next course, whether you can go for the remediation or mitigation, all such kind of activities, whatever things I have explained till now, all those things can be managed through ARA. So this is what happened in the ARA component. And next one is the ARM component. ARM is mainly for delivered for the to manage the all your user administration activities. Okay, so here ARM wise, whatever the user ID, if you want to create any of the user ID in your organization, generally what we will do, once we receive the ticket from the customer side, we will go and we will try to create that user ID. Before creating that user ID, we generally take the approval from the various customers. Okay, we generally take approval from the various people who is the manager or role one or somebody else. If the persons are not approving, are not giving approval immediately, generally we will do a lot of follow-up emails and all those things. Afterwards, once all the approvals are streamlined, then only we will go and we will try to create that user ID by using various transaction codes like SU0 and all the things. And afterwards, we will pass on the logon credentials information like a user ID and password to the user. This is what happened in the ARM wise. So this is what happened in the regular processor. If you use ARM concept, whatever the procedure I told you, right, all those things we can able to automate. As a GRC consultant, I can simply submit a request. For example, right now I would like to create a Chidanand user ID in a backend system, ECC. So what I will do, so previously I need to get approval from the various managers and roles and all those things, right? So now if you are using ARM, simply I will submit a request in GRC, and so here I will try to prepare some stages like automating. So role owner or manager approval or else training approval, all these persons is putting at the different stages. Once these guys are approved, in GRC, so GRC system automatically creating that user ID, Chidanand user ID, in a backend system, ECC or SRM, whatever it is, it will create that user ID and assign the relevant roles. Afterwards, GR system itself is sending the logon credentials to the Chidanand email ID. What is the user ID and password? So here there is no manual intervention. Directly everything gets processed by the GRC itself. We are not doing anything. Okay, we are not doing anything. So everything gets automated. What exactly we are doing over here? We are simply submitting the request. Okay, so there in request, who is the user and what kind of roles we need to assign and which system. That's it. This kind of mechanism, this kind of workflow setup and all those things, we can go and we can do it in the MARA. For configuring this kind of mechanism and workflows and all those things, here we use MSMP, multi-stage, multi-path process, along with the BRF plus business rule framework. So by using these two concepts, we can go and we can able to set up this kind of thing, MSMP and BRF plus. Okay, and third component is for the EAM, emergency access management. So here in this component, so as a user, so why this user? and he's the regular consultant. He's a consultant, and he's a file from the finance side, as we discussed. And he wants to perform some kind of critical activity like a month-end closing activity. So to perform this month-end closing activity, he needs a specific T codes like FB 50 and other FB relevant transaction codes. So that kind of T codes we generally don't provide to any of the individuals. Why? Because those are the very critical and financially it is the potentially dangerous transaction codes. Whenever the business is really required, then only we will try to provide the relevant equals access. So at that time, if Wahid wants to perform month-end closing, so then how can I provide that access? So there I will try to create a one specific user ID. That ID I am calling as a firefighter user ID. There I will try to provide the relevant critical access. That access I will try to map with my map with Wahid user ID. So this is what happening over here. So this access can be assigned to the Wahid user ID by using firefighter ID. So this kind of concept and mechanism and assigning and how many days we need to assign, 1 day or 2 days, and who is going to approving for assigning the additional access, and who is going to monitoring whether after by maybe why he wants to use this firefighter ID, and whenever he is using, somebody needs to monitor that kind of things, right? Yes. So like a monitoring and all those things, firefighter owner, firefighter controller, all this kind of setup and mechanism and all those things, we will go and we will try to perform in our regular configurations. So this is the basically third component. And fourth component is BR, business role management. By using this component, we can able to create a risk-free roles. So okay, and this kind of component basically BRM wise. So risk-free roles along with that we can able to create, and these things also we can able to set up a automatic workflow kind of thing. Once approver has approved this role request, then only we can able to create the role. Such kind of things also we can able to set up. Compared to the all other three modules, VRM is a less used module. Okay, so very less used module. So, but mostly ARA, EAM, and ARM like this the customers will use. And if the customer want to use VRM for to manage the rules, yes, we can able to set up the methodology. That means how we can able to create a role and all those things. While creating the role, what kind of a procedure we have to follow, all those things we can do, and we can do it in the BRM wise. So these are the major four components are available. In these four components, first component is for ARA. That is nothing but a get clean. It is helping for us to clean our environment. So next three components, ARA, ARM, EAM, and BRM. These three components are helping for us stay clean. So once your system is cleaned, then it's nothing but risk-free environment. So by following these by using these three components, ARM, EAM, and BRM, we can able to make sure our system is risk-free. So next one is the stay in control. That is the third phase. So in the third phase, we have to run the periodic access reviews as well as the audit reviews and all those things which are helping for us to keep the system clean. So this is what the major focused areas in access control wise and AR and rest of the four components wise. Once we discussed about these four components and how we are going to deliver all those things, which is really helping for us to keep the system clean and everything. So this is what basic idea about the ARA and rest of the components. This is a basic idea about the GRC and all those things. So, and as I told you, so in our course, we are going to cover you all the configurations like how can we perform the remediation, how can we perform the mitigations wise, and how can we discuss what exactly the risk and how rule set is going to define. While preparing this rule set, how the functions are really helping for us, and what exactly we will do in ARA and ARM wise, EM, and all those things. We will go and we will discuss individually. So this is what happened over here in the GRC side. So this is a brief idea about GRC. So if you are having any queries, you can discuss. So once we start the session, right, we'll go ahead with the regular approach and all those things. No problem. Go ahead, guys. If you are having any questions, you can put.
Shiva, this is Wahed again.